Back to your Splice, packs. How does that even come up? How does somebody get their work on Splice, and how did you go about recording that?
Okay, so that's a good question. So I got very lucky because I kind of jumped on the Splice bandwagon very early on when they were still needing packs. And
Mm,
when I put out my pack just a couple years ago, they really didn't have a lot of female vocal packs yet. Also because I don't know, there aren't as many like, or at the time, I guess even just a couple years ago, there weren't as many like female producers, or at least they weren't acknowledged.
sure.
Let's say. I'm sure they were out there, but they just weren't acknowledged or being celebrated. So luckily, I knew a friend who in New York,
Mm-hmm.
because Splice is based out of New York City, who had just done her pack, and then a friend of ours had just started working at Splice. And so I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I don't know if you need any more packs, but if you do, I would love to do a more EDM driven pack because that's kind of what I'm on that train right now. That's what I'm doing a lot of. And I feel like all the producers I'm working with are missing these kind of one shots in their
Mm-hmm.
production, like
Mm-hmm.
a hey or a ah, just
Yeah.
little things that I know sound simple, but they go a long way and it makes a producer's life just a lot easier, especially if they don't have a vocalist at their disposal, just that day.
Exactly. So I
So
actually just pulled it up. So let's see if it'll come through the speaker right here. Hold on. Let's. Okay. Yeah. So say something really quick. Just.
say
Uh,
something.
yeah. There. Okay. Cool. So you're coming through the speaker. So let me just raise up these volumes. So these are the sample packs. Let's see. There you are. Dude, these sound killer though.
Thanks. Well, okay, so I did the pack with Joran. So basically what happened was we got the contract to do the pack because they were like, cool, like, we like your idea for the pack. So let's do this. So, they obviously you have a deal with them. I'm not going to disclose,
Sure.
my program because I'm sure everyone's is slightly different, but yeah, you put a contract together, bada boom, bada bing, ready to go. And so then I actually flew to Amsterdam because I was living in New York at the time. Flew to Amsterdam because I had a bunch of other stuff to work on with Joran anyways. And at the time we were kind of going back and forth. Like he would come to New York and crash with me, or I'd go there. And I always crash with his mom because we're
Nah.
really tight. Jordan's like my
That's cool.
bro.
That's
So
cool.
we're like family. So I went to his place and he has like an amazing studio that he has set up himself. That is it's incredible actually because instead of regular soundproofing, he's used old books like from his
Wow. That's
family,
cool.
and the books are the best soundproofing you can get, just old books. It's actually nothing is better. It's really just like a natural acoustics,
That is
incredible.
so cool.
Really cool. So we did the pack, and the first day that we started recording the pack, we were like, oh yeah, like this is gonna be easy. Not easy, okay? Not easy to do a pack. We recorded all of these sounds and one shots. Like we had ideas of doing scales and really went through like, hey, what do people need? We didn't try and do this so creatively. We were trying to be more practical because I
Was that a
mean,
good thing or a bad thing,
oh,
retrospectively?
great. It was
Okay.
great. I'm so glad we did that because
Cool.
I felt like there are so many amazing creative tools already out there on
Sure.
Splice. And I was like, yeah, the thing they're missing right now are just really practical things
Yeah.
that, of course, there's still an element of creativity. Like we still have to be creative about it,
Sure.
but just not doing like crazy runs and things like that because that's not what people need. They need that once in a while. They mostly need very kind of basic tools
Yeah.
so they can build their tracks or manipulate the sound in their own way to fit their particular production. So Jordan and I record some sounds, and then we realized at the end of the day we were like, oh my god, there's sound leaking through the headphones.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you have to do things in different keys and label the different keys of like what the notes are. And we were like, oh shit. Like we just did all this work. We thought we'd do this in, like a day.
I know that exact feeling.
And we were like, oh my God, we did not realize that like this is gonna be an insane amount of work and days of work, but totally worth it. We figured it out. So what we would do is like record, we would like play in my headphones for like a few seconds, I don't know, like a scale or like a tonal vibe. And I would just
key.
The key, and then like and the click as well, and I just had to internalize it, and then he'd like turn it off, and then I'd quickly record, and that like that's how we had to do everything.
That's wild.
Yeah, because you can't have any leaked, you know, backgrounds that people need this for their tracks.
The clean stuff, yeah. It
has to be clean, and we were like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's wild.